CBS presents this program in color.
Every 100 years, the forces of good mysteriously start to weaken. Thus, the power of Dracula starts to revive itself. His power grows stronger and stronger every 100 years. Dracula has revived many times. However, his sinister actions have been consistently thwarted by the Belmont family. It's been 100 years since the last confrontation between Dracula and the Belmont family, but now the serenity of Transylvania is being threatened by destructive forces. On a dark and eerie night, Dracula rose from his grave to unleash his destructive power over the countryside. Once again, Simon Belmont is called upon to destroy Dracula. With only his wit and courage, he sets out to restore peace to Transylvania. What can I say? Every time I do that narration, I feel like I try to go for some sort of very old sounding man trying to figure out the way to do things. But, well, that is me trying to sound like, say, a gypsy with a crystal ball. If that is actually a thing. If anybody knows more about Romani culture than me, which wouldn't be that difficult, feel free to correct me. Is fortune-telling part of that culture? Before continuing, seems like this TV's just been kind of going on and off in terms of brightness and color. Plus, I think the volume's a little low, so give me a second. Let's see if that does it. So we got. This is a long-standing, well, not necessarily long-standing, but I have tried to make it a point to play Super Castlevania 4, as well as the first Castlevania, every time around Halloween, because, well, this is just an awesome game, and, well, if I played it every day, it would get old pretty quickly, but if I make it special, it's even more special that way. Let me turn up the volume a little more. somewhere there. That's my name. Feel free to wear it out. Let's jump into this. The color's still off. Whatever. I guess it'll create a different appeal. Okay. I still love the little detail that if you look in the back in that skull, you can actually see bats coming out. And, well, there's just a lot of things that I think a lot of different players do whenever playing Super Castlevania 4. The first one has to be moonwalking. Because, come on, it's just awesome to be able to do that. And, I feel like there's probably a few others along the way, but let's jump into this. Hope the music isn't too loud for you. I guess the picture's kind of going in and out. Yeah, well, this TV is over 40 years old. I guess I should be thankful it's working at all. I'm going on the outside to get some more candles. Yeah. I got another chicken wing. I'm sure there's a different name for it in the manual, but honestly, that's what it looks like to me. It's a chicken wing. Let's see what on earth I can even give to the conversation here. I mean, this is a game I've played a lot, and yeah, I guess I'm not really sure if I've talked a lot about it. Well, let's see if I can give any sort of insightful commentary on it. But I can definitely say I would love it if somebody could just take this engine that Castlevania 4 runs on and just apply it to the first 3 Castlevania games. I'm just imagining how crazy fun that would be. But then again, the better controls isn't really going to help you that much with Castlevania 2. But then again, maybe when you go back to it, you could perhaps, well, fix up the dialogue, have it make, 10% more sense. It's kind of like the old joke people talk about with the Silent Hill games. It's just like, you put it on easy mode, the puzzles make 5% more sense. This is just what people tell me, that I don't care how good of a game it is, like, this is as far as I do it when it comes to horror. Like, I'm trying to figure out how in the world to describe it. So, there's obviously people that have made a fair bit of a living when Five Nights at Freddy's came out. The idea that, like, when they jump scare, they would scream something fierce and whatnot. I'm the kind of person that, like, when I get scared, you may see it on the face a little bit, but essentially it's going to be one of those things where it'll just haunt me for the next few days. And then that'll be it. It'll be more like a silent suffering, so that doesn't really make for any interesting content, I don't think. And well, I mean, that is kind of the point of the Silent Hill games, is it's supposed to be something very unsettling. Psychological deep dive into the trauma of characters and whatnot. As well as probably this prevailing theme of loneliness. At least that's the impression I get from a review I saw of the remake of the second game. Get off me, horsehead! I'm starting to feel a lot like that movie producer from The Godfather. Ah! That may or may not be a deep cut. I mean, I know The Godfather is hailed as like one of the greatest movies of all time, but oh, that was stupid. I'm not really sure Oh, that is a pretty famous scene in the movie. I guess those are probably like the most famous scenes in the movie is that and I make him an offer he can't refuse. One of these days I gotta see that movie. I mean, after reading the book, I'm like, okay, I'm very curious to hear where are the differences and where are the similarities between the fantastic book by Mario Puzo, I want to say it is. It's spelled P-U-Z-O. But the only major difference is, I guess the second movie goes into the origins of the Don Corleone. And that was actually in the first book. Actually, that's the thing I'm curious about, is if there were multiple books or whatnot. I guess it just shows you how much I've played this game, that I could just have a running conversation. I always love it when I can get a very heroic pose like that. For this opening section, I'm probably not going to be talking too much, as I love the music of this first section. Get to go to the waterfall and then to the caves. Just listen to it. To describe the music of this area, other than like, it just makes me feel sad that this is basically it. This is the peak of Castlevania. It never got any better than this. It's kind of like one of those you smile because, well, at least you got it this good in the first place, but it would have been nice for it to go a little further. That's my interpretation. And I've definitely done work on montages and whatnot. I'm not really sure how good I am at music when it comes to telling a story. Kind of interesting I put so much emphasis on the music of this level when, well, one of my favorite musics of the whole game is still yet to come. I'll point it out when we get there. Is this a double shot? Oh. Nice pork chop. I was a little worried I wasn't going to make it on the platform. I always keep thinking if you catch it after you throw it, you get a heart back, but you never do. At least as far as I can tell. Up ahead we got Medusa, one of the Gorgons. Still find it weird, much like Castlevania 3, how that's like a mid-stage boss. Okay, so the music is the same for the... What the... Why didn't the hand grab me? That's weird. I wouldn't like the first Castlevania, where I very much rely on the holy water, as I find it's probably the best weapon in the game. Here, I'm kind of all over the place, in all honesty. It's very situational, and I kind of like it better that way, in all honesty. But I will admit, it is something special when you're able to get the double shot or the triple shot. Maybe it's just because I don't have the candles as memorized as I do in the first game, but still is a bit of a mystery. It's like, oh, is this going to be the one? There we go, 5 hearts. The water keeps changing direction. In case you're wondering what that sound is, and why it seems like I'm moving half the speed. But yeah. Alright. So he made it through the second level. Still rather fascinating that the boss is in the middle rather than at the end, like, well, just about every other level of this game. Into the caves. Cave of Wonders. Kind of annoys me that the color's off, but well, I could probably spend all day adjusting this, but at the same time, sometimes you just gotta know when good enough is, well, good enough. My experience with old TVs like this, or, well, maybe I should call them ancient TVs, is it's the idea that if you try to strive for perfection, oftentimes you won't get anywhere. So sometimes it's better to just get something that's a bit subpar rather than try to suffer. I thought that was an axe, but I wanted to be sure. Axe body spray. No, that doesn't work. Now, if you're close enough, I think you can get all 3, yeah. Give me all the hearts. And that is probably the biggest thing I love about the future entries as opposed to the first game, where in the first game, sometimes instead of getting single hearts, you would just get 100 points in money. And, well, I get the idea that that's probably a holdover more from, like, the arcade side of things. This is where you start getting to the era where it's all about trying to beat the game rather than get to the highest score. I was hoping I would get a triple shot from that. Much like the original game, if you're able to catch things with the same weapon, you'll get extra bonuses. Yeah, there's the triple shot. See if I can actually keep that through to the end of this level, but we'll see. But anyway, I just appreciate it that you just always get the single heart rather than sometimes getting the single heart or just getting an extra 100 points. Even if you are trying to go for the high score, that's not really going to help much. There we go. Goes right over my head. Much like junior high school, whenever anybody would make dirty jokes, I'm like, I don't get it. And then, obviously, I'd get made fun of, because it's just like, oh, look at this person, they don't know what this dirty joke means. What a very odd tangent to go on, but I guess that's what happens when you're able to go on autopilot with just a really fun game. When we get further along, I know for sure that I'm going to be starting to get into the more gotta think about it areas. I'm good on hearts, and I don't want to accidentally lose anything, so I'm not going to be whipping any more candles. Excellent. Don't whip the candle. It's such a tempting thing to do that I can't do it. I do have to think a little bit about the whole grappling situation, but thankfully it doesn't get too crazy with that until later. For those of you that have played the game, you'll know how crazy the grappling gets. But not so much in a hard way, but just a really fun and inventive way. I think over there is a knife, if I remember correctly. And then the music in this level, it's just like, this is the definition of Halloween right here. Okay. Didn't even get a chance to use it, but whatever. Start over from square one. Let's do it right this time. We'll wait here for all the blocks to fall over. It's the annoying thing, because I remember that. It's just... Embrace the suck. Or maybe there's a better way I should phrase that. Just like I may not be doing that, but hey, I think it makes for some more entertaining, TV actually. It's kind of the big thing whenever people talk about protagonists in a movie. Usually one of the complaints is the idea that, like, the protagonist is perfect. People like flaws. We have known for a very long time that we are not perfect. So it's the idea that if you see something or somebody that is perfect, it's just kind of like, okay, well, this is obviously fake. There's the eye demon. Once again, sure there's a name for it, but I do not know what it is. Hopefully those mermen will not be spinning me over the edge. Yeah, good. Kind of a fascinating thing about mer people, in all honesty. At times, I kind of wonder if maybe it's supposed to come up with a missing link, so to speak, as it has often been said that whales and dolphins had ancestors that used to walk on land. And this is very much evidenced if ever you see the bones of, say, a manatee or certain whales, and the idea that the fin, isn't solid. Instead, they have fingers. So it's like a very similar bone structure to humans, it's just they have a tail instead. And so I kind of wonder if maybe that's where the tale of Murderers came from, is the idea that it's like, you know, you have to be a halfway in between here and there. Just a bunch of dragon skeleton. I guess that's what it is. Like, your guess is as good as mine, if not even better. It's one of those things I found out about the internet, is if you claim to be an expert, a real expert will tell you what's up. Get off of me! It's starting to feel like the main character of The Raven from Edgar Allan Poe. Whew! Thankfully, there's a chicken wing over here. Decided I could make the jump. Very good. Okay, see if I can make this. It looks impossible, but it's actually not so bad. It's like the controls of this game. There's a lot of forgiveness. Okay, I guess you gotta fill up the whole thing with water, don't you? Woo! Just miss me. You can just see how much this is lagging to try to get this particular animation to go forward. Well, I didn't have the triple shot, but I had the double shot. Oh, oh that would have been awful. Meet the boss and then die. Woo! Now on to one of the stages that I don't look forward to playing whenever I replay this game. It's not as bad as some of the other stages coming up, but this is definitely one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I'm having fun. It's just like, oh, this one again. I guess there's a way to say something nice about this stage. I do love the effect of the skull that watches you. It's just a fun little effect. Let's see, is this a triple shot? Whenever I see a heart come out of the wall like that, well, in this game it can mean one of two things. One, perhaps it's a pork chop if you're running very low on health, or it would be a double shot or a triple shot if you have the right weapon. Gotta get that ghoul coming out of the wall. There's so many things in this game, it's just like, what is this? What is that? I don't know. Hey, I think the imagination is half the fun. It's kind of like if you play the original Doom or other games that have like a roll call of enemies at the end. It's kind of fun because, well, along the way you kind of create your own little descriptors of each character. And then it's like, no, this is what the actual name is in case you're curious. And wait for that knife to go away. Alright, see if I can jump quickly enough. Yeah! Alright, I'm starting to make up for what was going on earlier. Very good. That's what I love about the whip. Woo! But the control is just fantastic in this game. Although I will admit, sometimes the knockback can be a little counterintuitive, but, yeah, you still gotta have a little bit of a challenge, eh? I don't know why I said that, like the famous Phineas and Ferb moment. Oh, the rinse for the food is good, but not too good, eh? What exactly is falling from the sky? I mean, they look like giant almonds. Ah, right, there is no orb here. Yes. Now this is where I was talking about the whipping getting a lot more interesting. Now today, this is such a simple effect, but, well, honestly, I think it holds up as... I don't think I've really ever seen this in other platformers before, the idea of a rotating stage. Of course, maybe some guy in the indie scene would be able to tell me that, oh yeah, that's done in another game just like that. Nope, there we go. Okay, so you'll notice that those 4 blocks disappeared. It's because they're being added to the bridge. I've always wondered what happened if I were to fall down that pit next to the spikes, but I've got a triple shot of arguably one of the best weapons of the game. I don't want to accidentally kill myself. Ah, yes. This is always a fun stage. So here's a bit of a fun thing you may not know, is that the blocks will stay there all day, but it's as soon as the edge of the screen touches it, it falls over. Kind of gives you a sense of urgency. Makes it more interesting. Yeah, invincibility. Oh good, I could have used the chicken one. This stage never runs at full speed. but it's still a very interesting effect. Kind of makes it almost 3D. Alright, this is another one of those stages I just absolutely hate. But hopefully we can get through this with as little anguish as possible. The problem I have with it is it's just so tedious. You just gotta wait for the blocks to rise in the right spot, and every time you try to rush it, you end up dead, so you just have to take it slow, as agonizing as it is. Because see, if I rushed it there, I would have crushed my head. So I'm just gonna move over here, and wait for the bigger block, and then you can move on over a little bit. Okay, I get 69 hearts. Feel like I'm doing my best Beavis and Butthead impression there. 69. 69. That's what I said. Oh, just shut up, Beavis. Shut up. It's kind of one of those things where, like, after seeing various clips of Beavis and Butthead, I do have a fair bit more, or there's the next one, a fair bit more respect for the show, as the writing is surprisingly good. It's just hard for me to get into because basically every other sentence, like even every comma, it's just the laugh of Beavis and Butthead, and it's kind of grating. Alright, don't die. I'm good on hearts, so I think I'll just, oh, this part's fun. All you just do is just run for it. Yeah. Give me the chicken wing. That's not the chicken wing. Here's this chicken wing. No, chicken wing. I don't know why I just like saying chicken wing that way. It's kind of like how I love to say piggy bank. Give me my piggy bank. And if anybody can tell me if that's some sort of accent, let me know. I think it's just me doing a different inflection. Cool. Oh, what do you know? I got to the boss with a triple shot. Yeah! I think I better actually do this on the first try. Yeah! Yeah! I'm on fire! Okay, I can't do the epic pose, whatever. Just do the muscle pose. We work on them buns and thighs. I feel like I almost combined that with it puts the lotion on its skin. Kind of another, well, it just seems like horror movies and Halloween kind of go hand in hand, including the horror movie Halloween. Now this, unlike most of the other stages where the timer isn't really much of a problem, this one you really have to rush it. I guess that's their way of trying to convey urgency. Because, I mean, I guess there was really no way you could have it look like... Okay, there was like one of those fire-breathing dragon heads, right? And there was definitely some in the edge of the corner there. Gonna get the harpies, which is... They make such a weird noise in this game. It sounds like... they're underwater almost? Like, wait, the next time I hit one, I'll have you judge for yourself. Just gonna go for it. Watch out for the fire. Doesn't it sound almost iconic? Like, that would be the noise I would think you would hear for hitting the merman. always loved the skeletons with the whips. It's almost like Dracula is just like, you know what? There's got to be something to this. I'm gonna arm some of my hordes of the undead with the weapon that has slayed me time and time again. I mean, not the weapon, but, well, another whip. I know there's more bats. Okay, I guess not. And it's a bit of a tradition for me, as I always like to... I never noticed it, but why 3 statues? There's like a broken one in the middle. Perhaps that's like Dracula and the other 2 are his parents. Kind of symbolizing the cursed child. I always love stopping at the threshold. It just feels more cinematic that way. Okay, well, I've made it to the castle. I guess I've just played this game so many times I can just go this quickly. If I remember correctly, if this is the library, this is my favorite music in the whole game. Okay, the next one's the library. And maybe that's a little much to say it's my favorite music in the entire game, as the end credit theme is also very good. Let's get the suit of armor going. There we go. It's always the thing I like is that from Castlevania 3 onward, you see the knights ducking, which helps give you a better idea as to how to be able to dodge the axes that they throw. In the first game, they just stood upright the whole time, so it was all just kind of a guessing game. Here you don't have to guess. Get into some fun platforming. Hope I don't make a fool of myself. I don't know why I'm saying that like a southern belle. I'll be the belle of the bar. Oh, the bar's a bit... I don't know. I can't go any further than that. It's always kind of the interesting thing is, I get the idea that this is a background image being manipulated, but there's clipping on it. So as such, you'll notice that Simon doesn't necessarily line up quite right. In fact, you kind of have to keep readjusting, because, well, they'll fall off if you don't. Okay, that was a close call. Is that a bat? What was that? Unless that was just the chandelier from the other side going. Okay, can I make it through? Yeah! First try! Yeah. It's kind of funny to think that maybe in another 7 years or so, it's going to be impressive to some people to say, oh yeah, I saw the Lego movie in theaters. Saw it on my birthday, actually. It's kind of a fun little surprise. Because it was like one of those things that I knew was in the works, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get anyone to join me, but everything worked out alright. The schedule was opened up at the last minute, I just went for it. And I made a Lego hat for the occasion, which I wore to that movie. It kind of worked, but there was a few times where it kind of kept breaking off my head. It wasn't part of any kit or anything, it was just something I made up for fun. Yes! It was basically like, imagine a Lego baseball hat. I know you don't have to kill these things, but it's just easier when you do. Jiggy away! I'm not really sure why I'm killing him. I'm sure he's gonna come back. Get the bats. Yep. Feel like I'm impersonating that famous treehouse of horror. Give me the bat. Give me the bat, Howard. Give me the bat. You can just tell Dan Castellaneta was just having a fun time recording those lines. I don't know what it is. I just love the way he says bat when he's doing that. It's just like, give me the bat, Mark. Give me the bat. Give me the bat. What do you think of my latest creation, Marge? No TV and no beer make Homer. Go crazy. Don't mind if I do. Okay, is this golf I'm gonna give chase? I was hoping maybe the boomerang would hit it on the backswing, but I guess not. The boomerang, the cross, all depends on where it's localized. I believe it's supposed to be like a crucifix. Because, like, well, that's always been the big thing about trying to take down a vampire is, I guess it's kind of has roots in the demonic, so if you do an exorcism, it scares away the evil spirit. I don't know, but it seems like that's always like the big thing is the crucifix. There's always a weakness of vampires. Or at least European vampires, I mean, there's definitely been different traditions of blood-sucking creatures. I guess it comes from the root word vampira, but I'm not really sure what that means, so... My hands are solid and not phasing in and out. No! I didn't even know you could do that. Hands off. He's like floating in the air for a second. He's floating in midair. How are they doing that? Oh, just an extra heart. Love that sound of the bones falling. I kind of wonder how they got that sound effect. That's kind of the problem with this era in gaming, is the idea that there's just not really any documentation on any of this. It was before a time where people really cared all that much about such things. Occasionally you might get people that were like on the job being able to give questions during an interview, but that's about it. Like, there isn't really a whole lot in terms of like behind the scenes footage or anything. There we go. And then you got the married couple. Even in death, the idea that they just can't get off of each other is still annoying. At least that's my theory as to why it hurts. Okay, I got the chicken wing. And now, we are going to incur divorce proceedings. That's it! Wow. I guess it's because I was just able to hit him so much with the cross. Celebrity marriages, they never last, do they? Okay, on to one of my favorite levels of the game, and I will admit, the big part of that is just because the music here is awesome. And much like level 2, I'm just going to let it speak for itself for the first little bit, so let's do it. So it's kind of the fascinating thing about libraries. Like back in the day, such things were impressive as, well, books were a lot like when you get like the box set of a favorite show or whatnot. It's the idea of getting the continuation of what the next section of the story is. But yet, in this modern day and age, it feels like libraries are like, yeah, you know, whatever. I mean, you read the book once. I mean, it's not going to change if you read it again, right? But back in the day, when that's all you had, was the idea of picking up a favorite story again to be able to rewatch your favorite episode of a favorite series. And back then, I'd say binging was a lot harder. Of course, I'm also a very slow reader, so the idea of finishing a whole book in a single day is just insane to me. Speaking of books, gonna kill this one. Dang it. Whatever the gargoyles. Not to be confused with the Disney show. One of these days I should watch it. I've heard a lot of good things about gargoyles. Darn, I know there's a chicken wing over there. Come far away enough, the screen will kill them. So first you kill the book, and then you're gonna hit the books. Okay, there we go. Hopefully this will give me enough time. Good. You can't hold me, you old hag. Just couldn't resist. There's just kind of a bit of a meme with my friend group in terms of saying someone is an old hag because of a particularly fun mystery in L.A. Noire, which I feel in ways is a different kind of horror. This kind of horror is more like the fun kind. It may have basis in reality, but it's still kind of like going to a haunted house. There's kind of like cliches you're expecting to see. You expect to be more entertained rather than like traumatized. That's why the idea of true crimes and whatnot, those I think are far scarier in principle because it's like, well, Dracula as well as like much of these other monsters of the night, their works of fiction. Oh, good. But the idea of there are a lot of real life monsters out there which I think are scarier. I mean, you know, that's kind of the thing to think about is, so people say the idea Dracula is able to hypnotize his victims. I'm just imagining how terrifying that would be for a serial killer if they just kind of were able to use the power of hypnosis to be able to get their victims to do it themselves. I certainly hope that's not a thing, but, well, there's a lot of stuck people in the world. I'm sure somebody somewhere probably tried it. I just hope they were caught before they could make it too big of a cereal. Such a morbid subject, but then again, it's getting into the Halloween season. This is what it's all about. It's like what Emil Mondavarius said best. Ah, that's what it's all about. Realizing your worst fears. Dang it. And if anybody gets that reference, then I get the feeling we're probably the same page. There's a bit of another flex. Yes, I saw that one in theaters too. Wow. This grass is killing it. I love it. Fill her up. This is kind of the longest I've ever gone through one session. Usually I like to split it up, make it last longer, but, well, time is so inconsistent for me these days that it's just like, I have the time now, let's push it to the limit. Gonna make the fire burn. I would try to sing the rest of that song, but unfortunately I don't know the rest of the lyrics. Let's push it to the limit. And this is probably, in my opinion, the worst level of the game. It's a combination of really difficult and annoying enemy placement as well as platforming that is very similar. Like, take these spikes for instance. If I were to just gently tap them, you would just kill me instantly. This is what I love, is the idea you can crouch as well as flail around the whip. You wouldn't be able to do that in any other Castlevania game. Well, I guess you can kind of do it in Symphony of the Night, when you're playing as Richter, of course. Because, I mean, you might play as Alucard with a whip, which that would be interesting. Yeah, I got the chicken. Can't go on. Watch out for this. If I touch my head on that thing, it's going to rage, fury, irritation, humiliation. I do not like this level. Impressive. Now release your anger. With every passing moment of this level, you become more my student. I guess that's me trying to do an Emperor Palpatine impression. Still kind of crazy to think that the original Emperor Palpatine was played by Clive Revival. He was the voice. He had the eyes of a orangutan, if I remember correctly, and very famous makeup woman. I can't remember her name, but it's just kind of crazy that, like, she was born in the 20s, and that's one of the interesting roles she's had. She was like the lips of the Emperor. And then you had the eyes of the chimpanzee, and it was Clive Revival. It kind of makes you wonder how the Emperor would have turned out if it was Clive Revival's performance still, rather than how... You know what? I'm not even sure how to think about it, because, I mean, Clive Revival does alright, but I don't really buy him as, like, the Dark Lord of the Sith. The idea that he was able to turn the virtuous Anakin to the dark side. Like, I could definitely believe that in Ian McDiarmid's performance. I mean, he basically plays it like the devil. But probably the thing that I probably the most buy it for is the idea that he comes off as a villain that just loves being evil for the sake of evil. Okay, see if I can time this. Yes. I can throw off the time a little bit there by slowing it down. Stop crying, tears of fire. There we go. Watch out for the javelins. It's just one of those things, whenever I hear say the word javelin, I just think about one of the Digimon attacks. Lightning javelin. I should rewatch that again. In fact, I was recently told that there was a new Digimon game. I was very excited about it until I realized it was $70. Which I know that's like the going rate for games, but I'm just like, okay, I'd be willing to pay $50 for this, but $75, no. If I can stay on the... No! I'm taking damage! Woo! And I thought I was gonna die. either way, you know, maybe if Steam has their Christmas sales and the game is, well, like I said, about $50, I'll see about trying to make an episode of it. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's part of a series called Digimon Story, I know that much. Which probably one of the more famous entries of that is Cyber Sleuth. I'm talking about Digimon while playing Castlevania 4. You're not gonna get this anywhere else? At least I don't think. Yeah, it's probably for the best that I died there anyway. I was so low on health. It's just a cool joke, isn't it? Get out of there! But, I don't think if there's anything else I want to mention about Digimon. I made so many different videos about it. I was planning to do more on the whole Smash or Pass thing, but well, it didn't seem like it was really gaining that much traction, and well, there's a lot of Digimon. And obviously there'd be a lot of passes. I don't know how many Digimon exactly there are, but I'm sure it's well over 1,000. Well, I know there's a chicken on the bed. I love the ability to do it. No! I somehow knew that was going to be... You know what? I'll take that as a blessing in disguise. That means that I can get the cross, baby! I feel like I'm doing an impersonation of the late Ozzy Osbourne. Not sure if anybody remembers them, but around the mid-2000s, there was these Brisk commercials where there were famous celebrities doing them. And well, that would be the big thing, is they were all stop motion. The two famous ones I remember is you got Eminem and you got Ozzy. And that was always how they would end the commercial, was going, "That's brisk, baby!" Or at least that's how the Ozzy version did it. Okay, don't get the knife. I don't want the knife. The cross. Once again, another tedious section. And after the tedious section is a platforming challenge that, despite how many times I've played this game, I still have not mastered the pattern. Okay. Just feels like I get lucky rather than, like, actually doing it properly. What? You can just hit the potions. Take this Frankenstein's monster. Give me that orb. Yeah! Hero pose. Ah, yes. This is a fun stage. Kind of makes up for the horrible stage we had to go through before. It's interesting how even paws of the ghosts are still going. Well, I've only got about another 20 minutes left in the camera, so... after this level, I'm gonna call it there. And then play the rest of the game later. Hope you'll join me then. I shouldn't be giving a salutation just yet. You could tell that skeleton had a lot of money in life. Here's gold. It's gold, remember? You see, he loves gold. Just feels like he should be able to get on top of that. I think it's called a turret offhand. Okay, I've never been able to do this in my entire life, but, you know, maybe now would be the time. Nope. It's kind of a crazy thing, is even though this level is probably just as difficult as the last, it doesn't feel as annoying. Which I think is pretty impressive. Maybe it's kind of down to the more, like, lively atmosphere and the fun music, while the other one you're, like, in a dank dungeon. And just in case you don't know, dank means, like, wet and moldy. Not to be confused with dank memes. I'm not really sure where exactly that came about as being called dank, in all honesty. Unless they were trying to say they were moist, I don't know. Yeah, right, I've only got one shot, and I missed my chance to blow. Yes! Chicken leg! Yeah! Look at that! Now there's another one of those up ahead where, once again, you've only got one shot. But, well, it's a lot harder. It's really saying something, as that one's kind of difficult. Every stinking time. No! Dang bats. This game is driving me batty. I don't want to fall in the pit because it burns! Either very vintage YouTube poop connoisseurs or those that have played the Legend of Zelda CDI games. No! Not into the pit! It burns! It's just one of those voices I've been able to do pretty easy for some reason. I think it's just because it's very much a throaty thing. Damn. That was probably the closest I've ever gotten, actually. It's kind of like doing the Dr. Claw voice. I don't know how Frank Welker is able to sustain that, because for me, that just hurts. Then again, my voice is a lot higher than Frank Welker's, I think. At least I think it's Frank Welker doing the voice of Dr. Claw. That sounds right, right? Because he just did so many voices of so many characters back in that time. It's like, yeah, it's just a fair assumption. See, now that's what ordinarily happens. And I got my chicken wing. Now I've fallen into the pit. It burns! Not to be confused with the pit and the pendulum. No! Keep going! I want to get past that stinking skeleton. This kind of makes me think back to... I'm not really sure how many people talk about Tex Avery in terms of, like, classic animators and whatnot, but, well, I think he should be talked about because he just had, like, a very crazy sense of humor that I absolutely love. So there's this one, I'll just say cartoon he did, for lack of a better term, that was called Whodunit, and obviously it was a murder mystery. And so the basic idea is that the police captain is trying to, well, solve the murder mystery. And the whole time, there's like so many crazy things around the corner. And one of the gags I love is, so it's just like, who's in that closet? And then a skeleton just walks out. It's just a skeleton. And then another one painted red comes out. Red skeleton. That's going to be a reference that I'm not sure anybody's really going to get these days. So I guess there's a way to let you in on the joke. So Red Skeleton was the name of a stand-up comedian, I believe. And yeah, that's the joke. It's like, oh, Red Skeleton, just like Red Skeleton, the guy. So, yeah. There's a lot of fun gags there. Like, one of them is, it has, like, so the person that did it is in a mask the whole time. And the way the police captain gets close to apprehending him is he just rolls up his shorts to reveal that he's got very feminine legs. And this is just like a common gag in cartoons, and it's just like, oh, it's a hot girl, everybody just has to stop and stare. Hey, I got past it. And that was the gag there, was the idea that he was able to slow down the guy with like the very feminine legs. He's just like, ooh, what are those attached? And then it's just the gruff police captain. I somehow knew that coffin was gonna be the end of it. Get away! Woo! So now there's more stuff up there. I think there's a time stop. Oh. I was gonna say, if I get hit, I'm dead. 68 hearts! No! Now let's see if I can actually swing across this time. Hey! No! 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 Dang it. You can see whoever lived here loved gold. I was hoping maybe if I jumped it behind enough to reach, but no such luck. Alright. Down the chicken wing was right there. Come on! I was so close. Okay, now this one I remember is mandatory, because if you don't, you'll just sink in gold. Or if there's any Ice Age fans out there, because if you don't, you'll burn and die. I just love the idea that as the dodos are talking about the massacre, there's just one that so casually says, "There goes our last female." Just the idea that, like, they know they're into doom species, it's just like, whatever. Get away, stop sucking me. I did not consent to this. Oh! Okay, never mind. It was kind of tricky with coffins. It's just like, okay, which one is actually going to give chase and which one is not. Okay, there's nothing down there but the coffin. Let's go up the stairs and let's see what we can find. Now, here's just a bit of an odd one. Is it just me, or does it look like the background here is just like the skulls of a whole bunch of xenomorphs? I hope I'm not the only one that sees that, just for the sake of not sounding insane. Time to get the points. Still never really figured out how many points you need to get one up. What? No! 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 You can whip the block! What? I did not know that! That's funny. That's not funny. To me. I'm sure it's probably funny to the viewer. So does that mean you can whip the stationary block? Maybe you can whip. Okay, only when they fall down you can whip them. Well, when the problem comes along, you must whip it. You must whip it. Into shape. Go forward. Get straight. No, that's not it. It's go forward. Move ahead. Try to protect it. It's not too late to whip it. Whip it good. Once again, how have I gone this far into a Castlevania video without referencing Devo? And, well, I don't know, since I'm referencing Devo, I might as well, say, Rainbow in the Dark! So I'll reference Devo. I mean, Dio. Instead of referencing Devo, I'm gonna reference Dio. I'm gonna go this way. Ceaseless Paris. It is not. Don't ask me why, but when it comes to candles like this, I just love doing this. Maybe it's just because it looks kind of like one of those fists of power sort of thing. Okay, I'm gonna watch out for the gold. I don't want the gold. I get the gold and we're good until he takes the rag. Anybody gets that reference? That's another one of those movies that's just like... I loved it a lot when I was growing up, but I love it even more as I get older. Probably one of my other favorite moments from that movie is like when Dr. Kinderschloss is being wrapped up by the vine creature, and she's just like... It's just so random, it's hilarious. All these hearts and no weapon. But just gotta do this the old-fashioned way. No triple shot cross this time. So it's gonna be more of an epic fight this time. Dang it. Now this is one of those things I gotta concentrate on. Yes! 3 of 4 bars of health. I felt like I was doing my best Felonious impression. 3, to pick number 3, the Lord. Unfortunately, there's no button combination that I know of that'll give you the password, so I'm just gonna have to off myself. It's always fun how these stages like to reference the other Castlevania games. It's kind of like the idea of showing how far you've come in different ways, both the franchise and the game. And for those that want to play along, here's the password. Until next time, keep having fun.